is a very big compliment to give someone, and I think
He,
it's pretty accurate.
yeah. I mean, if he wings was unique from this. Oh, here we go. Are we back?
Are you back? Oh, you're back.
Sweet. All right. I have no idea what happened there. Thank you for your patience. If there's anyone left,
There's
like
two people watching.
like
One
we,
of them is me.
yeah. The other one's probably me. So here we go. That's
So
hilarious.
there were some technical difficulties. Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah. Um. All right. Hold on. Let me go back to the game here. Okay.
I see you placed a bunch of animals. Hello.
Uh,
I'm gonna tweet that we're back.
thank you. There we go.
Being
Okay. Hello. Sorry about that. We're professionals over here. Very, very aware of what we're doing. I have no idea where we cut out, but I was just getting the rest of the animals in here so we can take a look at those, and then maybe we'll do a little sneak peek at Tivoli if we can get it to load here. Um, so the one of the animals that intrigued me the most when they announced the pack was this water buffalo. I think they're so cool.
yeah. I think that's also one of the animals that is going to be in the next Tom Shoddy episode.
Yeah, so cool.
It is a very it's a very unreal animal in my eyes. Like the massive horns is
Uh
just
huh.
like, how do these animals even work in real life?
Right. It's like, have you seen a Texas Longhorn?
I
Yeah,
have.
they're. I used to live in Texas, and you would, prior to living there, I'd only ever seen photos of them, but then you see them in person. Same thing. It's like, how do
Holy,
they even keep their head up?
holy moly! I just saw one that's even larger than I. Holy moly, that's insane. All right.
Okay.
Oh, so Domas, welcome.
Yeah. Welcome back to round two of the stream. Yeah, so we've
How
got
many?
all of the animals finally in here. Um,
Yeah.
I put the caiman over here by itself. Um, this is something that I
I
could probably utilize. So right now I have the crocodile in the tropical discovery, which that's actually the animal that's there. But it just feels kind of wrong to have them in such a small space, so I might put in
yeah.
a smaller animal like this.
Yeah,
And
and this caiman is also I believe it's pretty common in captivity, so it's like a logical choice to have.
right,
Um, and it's another one of those controversial choices because a lot of people were like, okay, but we already have a caiman. Why do
yeah,
I need another one? But for me, it's always like a thing of long term. You're not just building one zoo now; you're
right.
building five zoos in the future. And if you always have the same caiman, then you're just gonna get bored. So having some different species really good.
These are
This is,
really
by the way,
these are really nicely done too.
yes, the Lechwe is one of my favorite ones. The beard on these animals, it makes me jealous, Rule.
It's not all
Um,
patchy. It's luscious and full.
exactly, it's not like my beard.
uh,
Fortunately, not. It doesn't have a killer mustache, so
yeah,
I'm gonna.
these are nicely done. Yeah, see, for me, I'm okay with them using. I mean, because obviously with these guys, they probably used one of the other animals rigs that already existed, and then just maybe add some new animations or
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and
Which is
that I'm okay with. But, especially in an animal pack like this, where you're getting more than your typical. What do we usually get? Three animals and one.
four
Uh,
animals in one,
yeah,
basically.
four animals in one. So um, I'm
And
okay with
also,
that.
it's it is it's just logical, because even from a performance perspective, it's super. It would be super stupid to put in a bunch of animals that each have a completely unique set of animations, because there's no way you can load those all in, and besides it's also not necessary at all. um, like the most animals move in a very similar way, and you can make these compromises. So I'm also fine with that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so there's a sad segment.
What's that?
There's a sad segment in this live stream, because rest in peace, Tejit Cam. Tejit Cam has been
Oh
discontinued.
yeah, yeah. So it does. So that doesn't even work anymore. You just
No,
have to
so
use
it
the.
doesn't work anymore.
Oh,
Yeah, you
okay,
have to work
interesting.
use the new thing. I think it's under economy settings
Okay.
and
I thought I had it
sandbox.
turned off, but it must be because this is a new map. I don't
Yeah, yeah.
know.
So
Where is it?
sandbox, economy, and then uh, or maybe it's
Enable
animal
facility. There
settings.
we go.
It might be animal settings. Then it will be.
We're professionals, everybody.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
Enable.
Uh, I'll have to scroll down a bit.
There it is. Okay.
That'd be
I
too
just don't
much
want to deal with that
information.
annoying stuff. Yeah, so we will. I will get in
That minutes.
the peep view thing here. Um,
Okay, so
Gomez says,
Gomez.
"Yeah, does this pack add anything getting back into working on the Denver Zoo?" I have a ton of progress on Tivoli. The last month, I haven't had any time to play the game at all. But I believe my goal is to wrap up the next episode this week, and then Ricey is going to be putting some additions in um, probably over this weekend, and then probably recording after that. And then Eben is actually going to help me with re envisioning the Asian Highlands a little bit after
I
that.
am.
So, yeah. I thought you were. I hope so.
Yes, yes, yes. I've been looking forward to that, because I tried to help you with a different part of the zoo, and I for the life of me couldn't get it to work.
Me neither, man. That's gonna be a challenge. I might have to bring Wyatt in, the master, to to.
Wyatt needs to do a master class on how to get like those Alaskan style buildings,
Yeah.
because I want to know how he does it, and I want to know how to do it myself. So I really hope that he just needs to make a tutorial series about it. And
Hey, seriously. Or well,
I
don't. He needs to do it in Tivoli before he does it, or maybe he can use Tivoli as his tutorial series.
exactly
There we
that
go.
would be. I'll tell him to do that.
How do I
This
change the? Oh, here we go. Because you can change the watercolor in here now,
Yes,
which
you
is
can
sweet.
change the watercolor, which is in the customize tab,
Cool.
and it's the bottom
There's the
part.
natural, and then nice.
Yes.
That's cool. Especially, I wish that they had an option. I know you have a mod that takes the cage away, but I wish there was an
Yeah.
option similar to the way they gave us the counters.
Yeah, exactly. So, talking about the counters, the remaining counters are not included yet. So I assume that they will come in the next update,
Right.
which, which
Um,
kind of segues us into the update.
there we
Uh,
go. There's the explore. So it's explore then. Is
the
the
Explore mode.
sorry? Go ahead.
Yes, and there you go.
All right. No
So
more
it's
Tedget Cam.
basic. Yeah, it's basically
It's the same
Digit
thing. It's
Cam.
just now you come in
Yeah,
here and explore and then plop yourself
yeah,
down.
but you can also use the E and the A button um, key. I mean, and to like uh, raise and lower your view.
Okay.
So normally that.
Within the Explorer?
Yeah, within the Explorer, so that you can like crouch down all the way
Oh,
or
interesting.
like move up a little bit.
Okay.
So yeah, that's one of the cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one of
Okay,
the cool
so
things.
before we load Tivoli, these are so we got to take a look at all the animals. Which, I think, in your opinion, where does this rank in terms of the animal DLCs? Animal
In
only
my
DLCs.
Yeah, in my opinion, it is slightly below North America Animal Pack. And the reason for that, it's not execution again, because as I said in the previous stream, uh, execution is always like either almost perfect or perfect in my eyes. But when I look at these, I see I see three highlight animals like capybara, platypus, otter, and those sometimes outshine the other animals. And I didn't have that feeling when it came to the North America Animal Pack. Those for me, those were all kinds of animals that were like each one of them had its own niche, had its own function. Even though I couldn't use any one of them in Tarmashadi, I knew exactly where I was going to place them. And with these, I feel neutral about quite a few choices. Um, but overall, it's like only slightly below. It's like I think you're looking for the bald cypress,
Yeah, thank you.
and you're already past it. So
So yeah, these are
uh,
the new trees. Yeah, for me, the packs I get most excited about are the ones that have scenery pieces. But
yeah,
I do like the idea um, of future animal DLCs being like specific to a sort of type of environment like this.
yeah,
I think that opens up a lot of options because then if you're looking, if you're building your zoo and you're looking for a specific animal, you aren't so reliant on it being region based. You could get
mhm,
you could get an animal you're looking for that is maybe in a totally different area of the world, but happens to have a similar type of environment.
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
so I think as they continue to develop the game, I think that will be a good transition
I I do hope that it's a transition
and
because
not
at
just
this point,
temporary.
yeah, at this point we don't know. We don't know if it's a transition. I was hoping that they would like mention it in the. Um, if you type in water, by the way, you'll find the
Thank
other
you.
trees.
Yeah.
Um, like I feel, um, in the previous dev log they mentioned it, and it was they mentioned like, oh, now we have region packs and we have mechanic packs and now we have animal packs. And now they didn't really talk about it, and they didn't say like, oh, now we have a biome environment pack. I was kind of hoping that they would confirm it because at this point I don't know, is this a new format? Is this the way we are going to go in? Or
Mm-hmm.
is this just another tool in the toolbox that you're going to use? Um, these trees are super amazing, by the way.
Yeah, I think these are really good. Much better than the last pack.
Yeah, I have to give it to them. I did a slight mini rant on Twitter about the last plans, and I know that the art director from Planet Zoo actually saw that, and I think he took that criticism to heart. And yes, these are a lot better than the previous ones.
Yeah, and these are the kind of trees that can be super versatile. I mean,
Yeah,
they can be a placeholder, especially you sink the large root ball down into the ground here.
exactly.
You've got trees that could. I mean, this could be any number of varieties that I see in Colorado.
hmm
Um, so
I'm gonna quickly answer. Have you encountered any bugs with this DLC? Well, given that Ruble hasn't played with it yet, like he has. I haven't encountered any bugs myself, but I usually focus on building, so it's hard for me to spot the animal related bugs, but didn't see many bugs this time. Hi Blue Dino, hi Beyond Drew, welcome to a Ruble stream.
Yes, yeah, a very professional stream, we might add. This is
Exactly.
our second go around. Um,
Oh yeah, you need to go to the wetlands pack.
yeah,
Yeah.
so well, I guess that's everything in the wetlands. Okay,
Yes.
so signs. Yeah, these are very zoo friendly signs. I feel like
These are super zoo friendly.
less.
Are
Oh
these signs?
wow, that tiny one. I guess it's a baby, but or no,
Yeah,
are they
yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
be tiny?
No, those are the baby ones
Okay.
indeed. Are these plants Mike Sheets approved? I haven't showed them yet. And Mike is super busy, so I don't know if he even saw it. What I do like about these signs, especially when you look at the nude and the Cayman signs, like there's both a more frivolous sign and there's also a more serious one. Like yeah, that one is a serious one. The other one is a little bit more. Oh, look at me! I'm a
Yeah. Uh huh.
fancy sign. These butterfly signs are amazing. I just wish they were flexicolored.
Oh, yep.
um,
Oh,
but the
that one's
snail
really good.
signs also super cool and super funny to have.
Yeah, like these are very conducive to some custom signage for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's one of those things that I really hope that we get more signs in this style in the future because don't get me wrong, I absolutely adore the North American Animal Pack signs. I absolutely adore them, but I wish that we also had North American animal signs that look like this. Like I want the both of them. Um,
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I would request if they. I mean, I'm guessing based just purely basing on the development of Planet Coaster, we're probably not going to get those things. But if they give us some sort of development tool when this is all said and done,
yeah,
then it should be fairly, especially with what people are already doing with mods, it should be fairly easy to replicate and really
yeah,
fill out like that would be my biggest request is like fill out what we already have. Like I would love more bronze statues and other animals, for example.
exactly.
Like
I yeah, yeah, same. I want statues for every single animal. I want flexicolor bronze statues. I want flexicolor stone statues for every animal.
right,
Like but those are indeed things that I feel like we can do with mods long term, and I don't mind that we don't have them officially.
right.
Um, yeah, in in general, I am quite a big fan of the pack itself. Like I said, I rate it slightly on the North America Animal Pack, but again, it's like for me, North America Animal Pack is a 9 out of 10, and this one is like 8.5, which is still super good in my book because I never give something 10 out of 10. So like that's an amazing score. Um, but still, these animals are a delight to watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
again, animals definitely not my area of expertise, but just seeing the models, they, definitely quality. I mean, like the biggest example I can think of where people their very first reaction was like, "Whoa!" Was like the binturong, the first
oh
iteration
yeah,
of that. So, you think about that sort of thing happening. Like, I really don't think there's been an instance like that since then. And
oh
credit to Frontier for immediately, um, kind of reworking that. But
yeah,
the
and
quality is very good. I think in terms of actual models themselves and capturing. I mean, again, not an expert, but just comparing photos of the real life animals. I think they did a great job.
yeah. All fairness, and this is something that I will. It's not really defending, but it's more like in all the years that I've seen people trying to make 3D models of a Binturong, I've seen much worse than the original
Yeah,
Binturong that we got.
yeah,
So like I understand how difficult it is to get that animal right, but I'm still super glad that we got the updated version.
Well, and for me, like when that first happened, and there was kind of the uproar, like again, not being an animal expert, like it didn't really bother me, honestly. But
Mhm.
just knowing that I try to compare it to like Planet Coaster, where people would critique and nitpick every little nut and literally every little nut and bolt on a coaster and things like that. So I always try to take that stuff with a grain of salt. But again, credit to Frontier's always been that way. They do listen and make adjustments where they can. So
Yeah, yeah, because like if you look at the development of the game so far, the majority of the stuff that we've seen is all based on like fan requests and things we really wanted, and like the restaurants from the last update. Frontier saw how many of us were all making restaurants, and they were like, okay, how can we, like, we have the system from Planet Coaster, but people are explicitly making tables and stuff. Like, how can we make that a thing? And I'm super happy that they went that direction. And
well,
I
not
hope,
only did they, not only did they take what was existing in Planet Coaster, like they made it better. Because in Planet Coaster they had quote unquote
yeah,
hotels and restaurants, but it really was just a box, and you would sink. You would literally
yeah.
sink like another box underground to represent a table, and people wouldn't actually sit at them; they would just walk into the abyss of the box and then come back out when they were done eating. So they even took it a step further, and
Which
there's so many things in this game that I know everyone who played Planet Coaster just would kill for.
I understand, and I'm super happy that they go the extra mile for those things. And I really hope that there are a few features from Planet Coaster that make their way into Planet Zoo. Like one of the things that I really want is the trigger system. I know it's
Oh yeah, for like media and stuff.
yeah, yeah. It would be
Mm-hmm.
super cool that if an animal talk starts, that I can play a certain song, that I can show a certain video, and I also kind of want to be able to control how long an animal talk lasts, so that we can like get more of a show feeling out of it. But triggers would do. I've recently watched the episode of Masked Bandit of his
Oh,
Conifer
yeah,
Slopes.
Conifer Slopes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when I saw his rapid ride, like all the triggers that were triggered when the ride passes by, I was jealous. I was so jealous.
Yeah, and it was pretty user friendly system too. I mean, you could get pretty complex if you wanted to, but to do the bulk of what most people were trying to do, it was really a nice feature to have. But yeah, I agree. That would be nice to, especially if you have like so one of the cool things about Planet Coaster is you could like link up the triggers to specific points on a track, and so that could be related to that particular ride, or you could just use that as a pacing mechanism for wherever your triggers were. Now, as it developed, they gave us these like boxes that were called sequencers, so you could do it without utilizing a ride, but
Oh,
sometimes the randomness of the ride was better than using a sequencer, like for certain
yeah.
sounds. Like for instance, the um, Jubilee Gardens was the park that I worked on with Commando Santa and never finished. But we had like a games area, and the like fire alarm bell that goes off in those game areas for like the steeplechase ride or things like that. We linked it to one of the coasters nearby, and so it was just completely random when it would go off. And so things like that were a nice feature. I'd love to have something similar.
Yeah, me too.
Drew said, I still get horrible flashbacks of using hundreds of triggers during the bro down. Yeah, you could, yeah, like I said, you could go crazy with it, and you could like even have sequencers inside of sequencers, and you could go totally nuts with it, and kill yourself. But it was pretty sweet to have.
Yeah, see, that's one of the things that I really hope gets added. And if it never gets added, I hope that it's something that is deep within the game files and that can be recovered.
Yeah.
Because the
All right,
the
please don't
the
crash. Please
moment.
don't crash. Please don't crash. All right, you're getting a little preview of something unfinished, but I'm gonna go. I
So
don't want to reveal too much because, like I said, there's an episode coming out, but we'll come out here
so
outside of the.
did it already crash?
No, nope, we're good.
On the previous. Oh, there we go. Nice. Okay, phew.
Do the explore. So yeah, so this is an area that's a part of the
Holy
city
cow.
park in Denver, and this is where we were talking about the free build mod and being able to build near water and stuff. Like this was a, I would not have been
Jeez.
able to do this without the free build mod. I'll put it that way. But
God
yeah,
damn
it's
it.
this is a part of City Park, and just outside of the zoo. And there's this like, there's usually like hundreds and hundreds of birds on this island, and then you've got these like little looking glass things where you can be in the park and look at all the various birds. So I've got like random nests up in the trees, and these dead trees are courtesy, I think, of Haribo. I think he made those.
Haribo
It's either him
or
or Lion, maybe.
uh, I
I'll credit it in the episode. I can't remember who's they
yeah,
are, but
it's one of those crazy guys.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So we'll
Quote me on that, please.
I'll show off a little bit of the backstage. I'm not gonna. There's like a big like what would be like a grand finale that I'm not gonna show you, but yeah, all of this is starting to get finished and fleshed out. This is the kind of stuff like pathing and stuff I hate doing, but you just have to.
I love the way it looks, though.
So backstage is coming together nicely too. This area has been a challenge because Denver Zoo has their own like recycling facility, and so
Oh,
they have this big machine here that allows them to separate and recycle various trash from inside of the zoo. And I have not been able to get any photos of what that looks like, and so I'm probably just going to stick
no.
like some of those condensers and stuff, and put some pipes and things like that just to make it look like that. But very very happy with how this backstage turned out, especially as it compares to the real zoo. This is
I'm gonna
all
say
like hay storage in here and stuff.
I'm gonna say something, and it might sound, and you'll understand what I mean. But I understand that some people might say like, "Oh no, it's not like that." It is so simple with so few pieces, and it works so freaking well.
Yeah, I mean I've gotten to the point now where it's like I don't want to go too nuts with pieces, building
Yeah,
pieces. It's just,
but it doesn't have to, and you clearly show that it doesn't need to actually look good. And it's something that I struggle with the most. Sometimes I just need to tone down a little bit. Um, and you do it like so effortlessly, so it's insane.
oh, thanks, man.
I've said it before, and I've been in this park a few times already, and this is one of the zoos that for me still feels the most like an actual zoo.
Oh, thank you. That's what I hope at the end is all said and done. That when people load this, if they can, hopefully they can. Sidebar: this is a keyboard keeper piece.
Yeah.
He made this custom for me. It's freaking ridiculous.
Oh,
So it's on his workshop, but I requested for him to make this.
how the hell did you make that little cart in the
Oh,
front?
this?
Like,
I'm guessing it's those new metal pieces.
oh,
Yeah,
the,
European cast iron fence.
oh, I really need to use those more.
Yeah, yeah. Being flexi color is clutch.
Just keyboard keeper. I know you're in the chat somewhere. You're insane.
Yeah, yeah. The plushies, like if they ever come out with their own like scenery piece plushies, I'm not using them because his are just too good. And the fact
They
that
are.
they're made out of in-game pieces, there's such a charm to that too.
The thing about it is, he posted a picture of his platypus plushie, and and then he made a version of Perry the platypus.
Oh
And
yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
he put a hat on it. For the longest time, I was trying to figure out, like, okay, but what piece is he using? What pieces is he using to make that hat? It looks so good. And then I was like, oh no, it's the hat from the Europe pack.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So yeah, so everything that's over here I don't want to reveal until the episode, but this backstage area I'm really happy with. It's like if you look at the Google Earth, it's like almost dead on to how it looks. So this and I'll explain it when Ricey and I record the next episode, but it's like the way that they designed this as a rotational habitat is brilliant. It's like whoever did the design work, along with, I'm sure they had keepers involved in the process, but
Yeah, for sure.
just so well done. And then this building so that's one of the other challenges that I'm going to have on the other side of the zoo. Is there's several structures around the Denver Zoo that are historical landmarks and cannot be demolished. And this is one of them. So this is an old pump house that they actually repurposed
Wow.
into, and it needs more details. It's not finished, but it's an old pump house that they repurposed into maintenance facility for the Denver Zoo. So there will be fencing and stuff here, and then there's a drive up into here, and then several garages and stuff like that. Don't mind our blueprint junkyard over here. This is another creation from Keyboard Keeper, which is funny because if you look at the Google Earth view, you can actually see this front end loader like sitting here. And so I think it's the
That's
only one they
awesome.
have. But yeah, he was kind enough to make that for me. And then you've got these stalls back here of different earth materials. Specifically, I know that they use it in like this area over here too, and other parts of the zoo. But obviously, elephants can have a pretty big impact on
Oh
the
yeah.
ground they walk on, and so being able to put down fresh sand and gravel and things like that is important. And so that's what this whole facility is here. So yeah, you got
Josh, you're supposed to work, buddy. You're not supposed to hide from your associates in the bathroom. That's not how a job works.
uh,
At least
well,
I hope that's what he means.
well, we can. How about you and I talk about the Asian Highlands, and that way
The Asian Highlands. Oh
I
yeah.
won't reveal too much of the next episode, but maybe I'll peek back that way a little bit and give people an idea.
Yeah. So
Um,
so
Go ahead.
the general idea was that first of all, the work from Carlos was amazing.
Yes.
But I think the thing that bothered you was more that it wasn't in the style of what you wanted to see in Tivoli.
Yeah,
Um,
it just felt a little disjointed compared to where the direction that the zoo was going. I think if I was doing something more like a true recreation, a lot of
yeah,
it would have worked perfectly because then you get the sense that like things were built over different time periods. But the fact that I'm really capturing the master plan, like most of this is going to be like the idealized version of the zoo.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but yeah,
I
he did a great job. So there's a lot that I want to. Oh, and also too. So Carlos was going to tackle this and kind of rework some things, but he couldn't get the file to load. So
oh okay.
um, so he knows that that I don't think there's any issues with coming in and redoing some of this. He wanted to himself. Um, so the tiger area specifically, I really love. I don't think there's a need to change much, if anything, there.
No.
I do want to re-theme this closer to like the Omaha Zoo. They have some really
Yeah,
cool structures, so I think it calls for a little more theming here. Um, and then you and I can go more in depth on the actual layout of the master plan. But
yeah.
again, capturing like what's the technical term for like an exhibit like this where it appears like you're on the same plane as the animals themselves, but there's usually like a
Uh,
moat of some
um,
kind.
Well, it's basically immersion to a specific degree, uh, and sometimes to achieve that they do reverse immersion. Putting putting the same elements that you have in the visitor area in the exhibit and the other way around.
Hmm.
So like using plants that you use in the exhibit, you also use in the visitor area, and like you let the path go into the exhibit, but like it's not to a point where you as a guest can go to that path, but it
Right.
just feels like it's all one big cohesive unit. Um, so that's good. That could be one of the things to do. Dear Tuklini, I need a break.
Yeah, just hang out in the bathroom as long as you need. But yeah, so I started to kind of rework some of the pathing a little bit that looks a little more like the master plan itself. The
Hmm.
challenge is going to be so, and then without revealing too much of this, so over here, um, I believe in the master plan, this is actually supposed to be the Dole exhibit. So I've got them in here. But I didn't know. One thing I wanted to actually ask you is this too big of a habitat for them? Like, should
That's
this be split down the middle and we could do like two additional
yeah,
animals?
yeah. I think you can split it down a bit.
It's
It's
big.
big.
Yeah. I think
You-
part of the problem is just like, so as much as I was able to really capture the proper dimensions, like it's not completely perfect. Like I think this area
Mhm.
is actually a lot more narrow in here than what I have it. If I could go back and start over, which I'm not going to do, but if I could, I learned about the trick of using Google Earth to measure that you could actually like measure distances and measure structures and things like that. I would have, probably been a little more anal about the
Yeah.
distances between things, but so now it's just a matter of like making it work the way that it is. So like one thing I really loved that Carlos did was this like viewing area here. So I copied it from the original habitat. And then you get your way back up in here. And then another thing I'd like to do here. So this is where they were. I really want to incorporate red pandas. So I was thinking that might be a good spot for them there. And then
Yeah.
any ideas you have in terms of like snow leopards are welcome. That's certainly not my area of expertise either, but
I have a lot of expertise and in looking at snow leopard exhibits and never ever seeing an actual snow leopard, so that will be no problem at all.
yeah, yeah. So even something like this, if we were going to do, if you're going to move the predators over here, we could like cut down the middle, and you could still capture this like cool overhead pass thing, like
Hmm.
here maybe, and you could do the snow leopards on in here, and then maybe put the red panda. And although I think it would be cool to keep the snow leopards near this mountain structure.
The thing is, that you would it all depends on what you want to do. So on one hand, you could say, okay, we put all the big cats together so that in terms of keepers, it's
Yeah,
easier
that's
because
true.
you have one building then close by where
Which
you
is
can
probably why they're like this is technically how it is in the master plan. Like you've
yeah
got your snow leopards and your
the
tigers over here, so
yeah
being serviced by
other
cats.
the other route you can take is like, okay, you start in the Asian area in the the Bengal tigers. You continue down, and the further you go, the climate changes, so that you get to red pandas and snow leopards at the end, so that you start from a hotter area and go to a colder area in a
Mm.
visual way. That's also an option. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
there's multiple
I'll
things you
leave
can
a
do.
lot of that to your creativity. But one thing that will be added here. So we got the camels, obviously. I want to put the Przewalski's horse mod in here since the Denver Zoo does have those. That's one that I would be shocked if we don't get at
Yeah,
some point. As long as they continue
yeah,
developing the game, like that's an obvious one that
same.
they can pretty much take the zebra rig and and make a Przewalski's horse. So I'm assuming that's. I mean, I know I've seen him at several zoos. I'm assuming that's a fairly common animal to have in zoos.
Um, it's
Maybe
it's
North
one of those.
America.
it's one of those animals that zoos rescued from extinction.
Hmm.
So it's a classic zoo animal. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we can spend a little bit of time planning, and again, you have creative freedom. But yeah, this is the if you're in earlier in the stream, this is the area that both Eben and I have struggled to accomplish. We've got some bare bones things here, but it just I'm trying to blend it in with this exhibit over here, obviously, and then creating more work for myself. I still have to clean up this whole area over here, but and then another thing I want to do is this feels way too barren, so I want to put in some. Now that we have the free build mod, I want to put in some like islands, some with
Oh
plants and
yeah.
trees and stuff like that. It'll be a little bit easier to accomplish with the.
Yeah, and that will also make it so that this area is not as hot because
Right.
with all the concrete now,
Yeah, it would
it's
be
just like a
miserable.
hotbed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be awful. Um, So cool. Well, I'm not going to go near the entrance because Ricey has a bunch of surprises for me up there. I know she went crazy on
Ooh.
some details, and then she's got some additional blueprints that she'll be adding prior to us recording. But yeah, so that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed the look at the DLC. I think, like Eben said, it's really well done. It's probably several animals that a lot of people have wanted for a long time.
Exactly.
And obviously, again, the quality was there, and the level, the amount of animations that they added to, I think, really drive home the value of the pack. Because again, it's just that's what separates them from just being animated scenery to really feeling like they're, it's a living, breathing zoo with real animals in it. So yeah, I hope you guys will check that out. If for me, the animal pack, Frontier's kind enough to give me a key, obviously, but those would really be specific for me on do I think I'm going to use this animal. So I think there's probably people who will buy animal packs no matter what's in it, and there's probably people like me who it would really be dependent upon the project itself. But I'm curious to see what they're going to do going forward. Like you said, if it's going to be a trend or if we're just going to have, if it's just sort of a one-off thing to get some animals in that they knew they needed to. But I would assume that they're probably going to continue to trend that way, just because it does offer a lot of flexibility in terms of the kinds of animals you can add.
Birds.
Yeah.
Birds.
Yeah,
Sorry,
that would be, I think, everyone's biggest request next is some sort of birds.
Yeah.
Like for me, I selfishly want a sea eagle,
Same.
or at least like a bald eagle rig or some sort of large eagle rig that someone could mod so that I can have a sea eagle in my exhibit up there. But yeah, and then I'll be curious to see what they do for a DLC that has building pieces. If they'll go the themed route or if they'll, like the last one, I feel like really, even though there was theme to it, I really feel like they mixed in a large number of sort of generic pieces. So it'll be interesting to see the route that they go there. I feel like if it's similar to the way they developed Planet Coaster, towards the end of the development cycle, I feel like they really gave the hardcore players a lot of the things we had wanted and hoped for. So I'm anticipating a similar sort of trend here as they wrap up development of the game. Although I think they probably have another year or so left, from what I understand. So
Yeah. So this year, most likely, and then we'll see.
cool.
All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks for hopping on with me today. I appreciate it. And
You're welcome.
go check out Eben's video. He does a much better job of highlighting the beauty of these animals and the habitats he made. So go check out the video on his channel, and then hopefully, I'm guessing like a week or two, there will be a new episode of Tivoli. Basically, all that's left for me to do is wrap this area up, wrap up the one more little habitat section, and then we should be ready to record. So anyway, hope you guys all have a fantastic afternoon and good rest of your week, or evening, I guess, if you're in Europe. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode of Tivoli.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.